Newcastle United are appealing to supporters who were involved in the game at Marseille on Tuesday night for some evidence as they put together a complaint to UEFA after the treatment was absolutely shambolic of the Newcastle United fans. Conor Gallagher could be back on Newcastle United's radar. There is reports coming in today that Newcastle United and certainly Eddie Howe, who's a big fan of the player, may want him to come back to the Premier League. The player himself may also be interested ahead of the World Cup, trying to push into that England squad. And Bruno has issued a small statement regarding Tuesday's defeat to Marseille, saying it's very, very sloppy and things have to improve. Is that just same old though? We'll take a look at it all now right here on the Toon Review. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Toon Review YouTube channel. My name is Paul. This is of course your Newcastle United latest news. Thank you once again for tuning into the video. We will start with all the goings on from Tuesday night. We're not talking about the footballing side of things here. We're talking about the treatment of the fans. And Newcastle United are putting together a complaint to UEFA and have made a statement asking or appealing to supporters to submit some evidence of what they all went through getting to the game, being herded in the ground and then kept in the ground afterwards, the shambolic conditions that they had to wait in, of course, with the toilets overflowing, all of that kind of stuff. If you watch a couple of people who were there who did vlogs, Adam P. timed it at 7 hours and 46 minutes between leaving to go to the ground and coming home. Back to the hotel room. So that included sort of 3 hours in the ground before kickoff. 3 whole hours. And then, of course, the disgraceful conditions of the stadium coming out, literally treat like animals. Now, Newcastle United's statement claims that numerous supporters were indiscriminately assaulted by the police. Now, we've seen rather nasty couple of videos where supporters have clashed with police, both inside the ground and outside, of course. But this is what Newcastle United have had to say. We will be formally raising our concerns with UEFA, Marseille and French police in relation to the unacceptable treatment of our supporters by the police at the Stade Velodrome following Tuesday night's Champions League fixture. Following the final whistle, our supporters were required to remain in the stadium for a period of up to 1 hour on the instruction of local authorities to ensure their safety when leaving the stadium. Plans were in place to move 500 supporters at a time with a police escort to the metro station for onward travel to the ground. Our supporters were in good spirits despite the disappointing result and waited patiently and without incident during the holdback period. The post-match operation was observed at close quarters by our stewards and senior staff. This was... Everybody saw it that needed to see it, and that's why Newcastle United are taking the steps that they are, and damn rightly so. It goes on to say, once the first group of supporters was released, the police began using unnecessary and disproportionate force to stop the remainder of our fans from moving any further. This was action through a combination of pepper spray, batons and shields, with numerous supporters being indiscriminately assaulted by the police. Many supporters were visibly distressed, particularly in the upper concourse area of the away sector, where crushing became apparent. Now, listen, I thought this was all gone now, the risk of crushing at a football game, the risk of getting injured at a football game, but we've seen the reputation that English fans have when we go abroad. But the disgraceful behaviour of Marseille fans in the past and leading up to this Champions League fixture make you think why England fans are so badly targeted now when their own home fans act in such a disgraceful way, threatening to behead people and hang people and chasing them in the streets of Marseille. Come on. And then they treat our supporters like that and almost cause a crush. It's disgraceful, it really is. They go on to say our staff immediately addressed the matter with the police. However, this had little impact on their excessive tactics. Fans leaving the stadium rightly shared their distress, frustration and anger with our staff, and we have subsequently received deeply concerning witness reports from supporters who were in attendance. Supporter safety and welfare should always be of paramount importance, and we strongly condemn the treatment of our supporters by the police during this incident. We will be calling on UEFA and Marseille and the local authorities to formally investigate this matter to ensure lessons are learned and this behaviour is not repeated. Now, look, they're doing the right thing here, Newcastle United, by a long stretch. However, what gets me is this has been all done before. We've seen it with English fans abroad before when they've been in Italy and various places like that where fans have been seriously injured or even killed at times by just attending a football game. And, you know, complaints to authorities have been raised and nothing ever seems to get done about it. It's a damn shame. It really is. And it's such a shame that this has happened to a lot of Newcastle fans who were put in a very, very difficult situation. So what Newcastle have done, said, if you were in attendance at the game, supporters affected by this incident, please submit any evidence you have to the football club because it will be shared with UEFA and the Football Supporters Europe organisation. Supporters who wish to share their witness report should email supporters, I'll get it right in a minute, supporter.services@nufc.co.uk. So if you were at the game and you witnessed anything like that and you do have evidence of it, get it into Newcastle because they are going to do something about it, and rightly so. This needs stamping out. There was already worry about going to Marseille in the build-up to the game, of course. Newcastle putting out a statement saying don't wear your colours or anything like that. Now, for me, Newcastle United are looking after the fans with that statement, but why the hell should you not be able to go to a football match and wear your kit? I find it astounding in 2025 that this is still happening. And, you know, if you were at the game, let's get as much information to Newcastle as possible so this complaint can stand. Now, Conor Gallagher, a player who has been on Eddie Howe's radar in the past, is apparently back on the radar. Now, Sky have reported this as well as a couple of others, and it says over the next 18 months, Eddie Howe may have a few big decisions to make regarding his midfield options. Both Bruno, Joe Linton, approaching 30 years old, of course, and the trio of Jacob Ramsey, Willock and Lewis Miley, each struggling for consistent minutes. Now, I completely disagree with that comment there saying that Jacob Ramsey and Lewis Miley are struggling for consistent minutes. They're not struggling. They're just not getting picked when they should be getting picked. You know, and Tuesday night was a perfect example of that. The fact that Willock played in front of Jacob Ramsey and Lewis Miley. We've just paid £40-odd million for Jacob Ramsey, and he's sitting on his arse. It's a farce. Some of the team selections lately have been absolute farce. This one was again on Tuesday night. Just head off a wall, banging your head off a wall, wondering what the hell Eddie Howe is thinking with some of his team selections and the players that he's putting in. And then we're linked with other midfielders when he keeps going with his favourites. It's mental. Because obviously now we've been linked in the past couple of weeks to obviously Keith Smith, the superstar, young kid, Stankovic, and of course Scott McTominay and Fratesi. So we are looking for players. But then I'll look at different reports this morning. I'm seeing, the three letters PSR again, and I haven't bothered opening them because I can't be asked. I just can't be asked to go through PSR shite again and talk about that because only a few weeks ago there was a financial expert came out and said that Newcastle United was still in very good stead because of the Isak sale. They do still have a lot of money available to go for players in January. Now, whether we will or not is a different kettle of fish because obviously the market in January is very, very different to what it is in the summer. You know, and especially when Newcastle United come knocking, is there still a Newcastle United tax in this world? I believe there is. I don't want to believe it, but I do believe there is, which is a bit of a shame. But obviously, Conor Gallagher, he is eyeing up a Premier League return, apparently, and wants a little bit more first-team football than what he's getting in Atletico Madrid at the minute, because he has the World Cup coming up. He wants to make sure that Thomas Tuchel can see him regularly and that he's ready to go for the World Cup. Look, Conor Gallagher will split decisions whichever way you go because of who we've already got at the club. Now, look, he's done really well when he's gone to Spain. I don't think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's a first-team straight-away kind of player. He's not first on the team sheet. You know, we've got really good midfielders there, but we've got Ramsey and Miley, if he ever decides to pick them in a first 11, God only knows. But look, he's trying to build the squad. And for me, a Conor Gallagher signing would be all about building the squad again. It's not a guaranteed first-team starter, but it's a squad member who can come and do a job. So let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. He's had 12 substitute appearances this season, so he hasn't really been in the starting lineup for Simeone's side. But look, he's got talent. He has got talent. He's improved since he's gone to Spain as well. I know, Billy's not a big fan, but hey, you know what? Let's see what we can do. Let's see what Eddie Howe wants, because he does have a big, strong interest in Conor Gallagher, and he's still only 25, so he's still got his prime years to come as well. But there's no value on there or transfer fee, so again, we'll have to wait on that one. But let me know below, is Conor Gallagher, would he excite you as a signing in January? And finally, Bruno. Now, Bruno, he does have a lot to say when we lose games, and it's particularly frustrating when you hear players coming out and keep making excuses and saying, "Oh, we're gonna put it right next time." It's all right putting it in words, but it's you need to be doing it on the football field. And right now we're not seeing that in a lot of the games. But Bruno spoke about the defeat to Marseille on Tuesday, and he says 5 to 10 minutes we started the game so well, strong, kept the ball aggressive and positive, and in the second half we were just not in the pitch for the first 5-10 minutes and conceded 2 goals. Shocking, sloppy, with and without the ball. I'm very sad for today. I think we were in a great position after the first half, playing well, but we have to learn. We have to learn with games like that. We are still in a great position, but games like today, it's tough to accept the defeat. Now, look, I admit, of course it's tough to accept the defeat, but when he says we played well in the first half, some of our passing in the first half was shocking. It was absolutely shocking. There was good periods in the first half. Certainly the first 5 to 10 minutes, we take the lead, but then Marseille for the next 20 minutes pretty much dominated the half, and then we got back into it a little bit, but the passing was abysmal, and especially, one of the worst was Bruno. He says, no, I think I can't explain sloppy. I don't know what happened. We spoke in the changing room to start the second half like we did in the first, but this did not happen, and it cost us the game. We have to learn. We know the amount of games we have, so yes, sad day indeed. I'm very disappointed, but we have to keep going. I mean, look, it's hard to judge, isn't it? Because Nick Pope made that error in the very early moments of the second half. And I genuinely still believe now that if Nick Pope did not make that mistake, we wouldn't have conceded those 2 early goals in the second half. They wouldn't have happened. We just gave all the momentum to Marseille. And it was a stinking mistake by Pope. And it just turned the game on its head. But obviously Bruno's not going to come out and say that. He just says that they didn't turn up, which to be fair, they didn't come out for the second half. He says, today, I don't think it was that bad, to be honest. I think in the first half, we had the chance to make it 2-0, and the second half, 5 to 10 minutes, cost us the game. I think it was too slow, and I don't know what happened. Well, we do know what happened, Bruno. We do know what happened. We had a nutcase of a goalkeeper thinking he could run 45 yards, 50 yards out of his goal when there was no chance of him getting the sodden ball. That's what happened, Bruno. But to say I don't think it was that bad, come on. I mean, the passing from Newcastle is just all over the shop right now. It really genuinely is all over the shop. So I don't agree with him to say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as West Ham and Brentford, absolutely not. But to say it wasn't that bad, not sure. We cannot accept this, and we have to play better, especially when we're winning. So he kind of highlights the fact that he knows when we're winning, it is a problem. When we take the lead, we just can't seem to hold on to it, and we just go on the back foot. But that's Eddie Howe. That's your manager. There's no way the players are, deliberately just sitting back. There's some sort of instruction coming from the manager. It has to be. So we need to change tact, we need to change the way we play, and we need to be better. And it's all right, again, I understand Bruno coming out and explaining everything, and he has to, as captain, he has to say something, of course he does. But on the flip side of that, just go and do it. Go and do it on the pitch on Saturday at Everton. Go and prove to us that you, as players, can sort this shit out as well as the manager. Because that's what we want to see. We don't want to read words every day about how poor we were. We fucking know that. We watched it. So go to Everton and prove us wrong. And win the game and play really well. That's all we want. And then we can put a bit of positivity back into this season. So let's go for it on Saturday. And hopefully that Bruno interview there will maybe inspire the players to be better, because we need to be. But anyway, that's it for the news. Thank you very much for tuning in. As usual, let me know in the comments below what you think, what your thoughts are from the news today. We're back again live at 7 o'clock tonight, where we have the fan forum. This is your chance to come on and tell us what you really think, because obviously, you know, the fan forums, we've had a lot of frustrated fans on recently about XYZ, but this is a huge game coming up at Everton. So we'll talk about the game at Marseille. We'll talk about where you fit now with Eddie Howe and what you want Eddie to do on Saturday. So it should be a great show. You don't need a camera. You just need your microphone. If you don't want to put yourself on screen, come and have a chat with us and let us know how you're feeling. 7 o'clock tonight. But if you have enjoyed this video, guys, give it a thumbs up. And of course, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe. It is completely free of charge. All we ask for is that you hit that notification bell so you never miss any uploads or live shows on the channel. And of course, visit thetoonreview.com for all your channel merchandise. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all sorts on there. So get to thetoonreview.com. Have a good look on there to support the channel that way. But thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you very, very soon. Take care.